At the moment, this is like what we're on, April the 3rd or April the 4th right now, and this is literally my first proper trip to the allotment, so I'm starting really late this year, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. However, there is an awful lot to be done on the allotment, and not least of which involves some major work on the polytunnel. You may or may not know that in February of this year the United Kingdom was gripped by some pretty major storms, and as you can see, the poor old polytunnel has really suffered. Unfortunately, it's irreparable as far as the woodwork and the polythene go, so I'm going to have to take those down, and I'm going to have to do a complete rebuild, including the wood and everything. Now at the moment, today I'm just here to do a bit of a tidy up operation. Quite whether I'm going to rebuild the polytunnel or not this year, I don't know. At the moment I just don't have it in me to rebuild it, but I'm hoping that's going to change over the coming sort of month or so. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. I'm also looking to take down this bamboo cane structure this year. As you probably remember, last year the idea was to get things to grow up it and make a kind of a temporary structure, but to be honest it's a bit naff. So and the floor is just really bouncy and no good. So I think what I want to do is make a potting area here. I can use some of this wood actually to make a little sort of cordoned off area, perhaps even put some sort of a waterproof roof, so if it does rain I can still do my potting here at the table and be protected from the rain. Well, as you may have seen from my video last week, slight disaster over the course of the winter where I lost the use of the polytunnel. I've been racking my brains ever since, sort of trying to decide exactly what it is I want to be doing here, and I think what I'm going to do is go back to the drawing board. I'm going to go back and start everything from scratch again. I came to the allotment for the first time last week. I did some damage control. I took the polythene down off the polytunnel. As you can see, I haven't got another one up yet. And I'm deciding, or I have decided over the course of the last week, that I think this year, rather than growing stuff, I'm going to spend the whole year getting the plot into some sort of order so that it will serve me much better in years to come. I thought if I just give myself this whole year, because I just haven't really got it in me to do the growing at the intensity that I did it last year. I just haven't got it in me this year. I'm just, this year's going to be a bit of a tick over year for me. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend the entire summer just gradually pottering around this place, putting things in order, building little things, just not worrying about the plants, not worrying about the growing, but getting everything ready so that next year I can hit it properly, and have a really good growing season next year. And I think I'm quite happy with that decision. Now, if you look around at what's going on here, there is so much to be done that at the moment it's just overwhelming me. There's just too much going on, and I know the only way to get through that is just to chip away at it a little bit at a time. And because of the pressure of the growing season is like now well upon us, I mean, we've got the nice sunny weather, we're well into April, and ideally I should have stuff in the ground now, and it's just not happened. I think it's a really good decision to just spend this year, like I say, just getting everything organised, figuring out exactly what I'm going to do with this polytunnel, changing the lay of the land, reorganising everything. Yes, I may even get the rotavator out, but no, I'll be alright, I'll be good. I'll hand dig stuff if I need to, but what I'm thinking actually in terms of is building lots of raised beds and pathways, and just kind of getting this place properly up to scratch and ready to go for next year. So what I've managed to do is completely removed the polytunnel. I've taken up all of the plastic apart from the bits underneath those paddling pools, which are going to come up the next time I come here to dig. So far I've been laying down the 2 metre wide membrane in strips this way, and I've managed to get 3 so far, and that means I've sort of got 6 metres progress from the start of the plot. And as you can see here, what I have is something called pallet collars. Now these I discovered about a year ago. Somebody mentioned pallet collars, and I looked up what they were, and I thought that is a really, really good idea. What it is, you have something called a Euro pallet, which is a very specific universal size, width and depth, and these collars are made to fit over them, and when they're not in use they're stored flat like so. Ooh, they're quite heavy, and they've got these big hinges on them. Let me bring one over to you and you can have a look. Or better still, I'll bring you to me. That'll be easier, won't it? Okay, so what a pallet collar is 4 little bits of wood all held together on these rather ingenious little hinges. And these hinges obviously are joined together like so. Hopefully you can see all of that. But in the corner of these hinges they've got these little lips, and these lips kind of sit in the corners of the pallet collar below them, so you can stack them up if you want to. So if I do, oops, there we go, and then obviously you can stack them probably not as high as you want, but fairly high. So I actually ended up buying 32 of them in the end, and obviously they're not going to be used this high. They're literally, I'm only literally going to be using them single high, but of course they're perfect for raised beds. But the problem is I can't really do anything with them right now until I've expanded the coverings further that way up the plot, so that I can start to spread these around a bit, and then I can sit back and figure out exactly where I'm going to put them. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut out the membrane in the area sort of inside where I leave them, so it's going to be like a permanent thing. But obviously I've got to figure out exactly where everything's going to go so that I can get my wheelbarrow between them, and you know, I'm not going to sort of lay them all out, cut holes in them, and then sort of regret it later. So I've really got to think about it. One thing I have learned is never do this on a windy day, because you end up swearing a lot. Now I want to show you something actually, while I'm thinking of it. These are the pegs that I'm using now. Last year and the year before I used this type of peg, and these are fine, they hold in the ground no problem, but the serrated edge makes them virtually impossible to pull them back out again. And what they do is they get entangled in all the weave of the membrane. But with these, just they're like giant plastic nails, the idea is that you should be able to pull them up without having that issue. What I've done, I've got a little bit of wire on it. You just twist it around just to release it, and release the door, and I managed to get the door on hinges, so I can open it 90 degrees out. This is going to be the second chamber. I decided I'm only going to go for 2 chambers. I don't actually need to go for 3. I've managed to put some, or managed to upholster my my 2 compost beds and put hinges on this one. So this is, it's got a nice big gate on it. The ground has been appalling. Look at next door. This is the kind of levels of water we got to deal with, and I've got this under here. You can see where I've been treading around. This is why I'm saying this membrane can be a bit treacherous when the ground's moving underneath it. I managed to get the shed base down, which is just, I was about 8 wheelbarrows full of that, the stuff that they use to make the road, and then I've just kind of trodden it down. Okay, finally it has arrived. The shed is here. After a long delay, I was expecting it the middle of last week. It's now Monday of the following week. Apparently they were waiting on some parts. So it's all loaded up in the van. I'm going to go and put it over in that space. That's my main priority today. I may get some other things done depending on how long it takes me to do this, but obviously this is the priority. As you may recall, I think the last video I did, I built this little shed, and today I'm going to build a kind of an extension onto it. Right, here's another job done. I managed to secure a pallet to the wall, and I've been able to separate all of the bamboo, the short ones and the long ones, and they're nicely tucked out of the way here. And because most of the time they're going to be in shade, so they're hopefully going to last a bit longer, because obviously when the sun shines on bamboo, it kind of dries it out, and the UV rays eventually kind of make it go all brittle and snappy. But hopefully, if it's tucked in here, it'll be in the shade most of the time, so they might last a little bit longer. And it's just a neat little place to put them. I'm quite happy with them there. Now, you may have noticed I've started laying these beds out again. Let me just point the camera at them so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've pretty much settled on this design, and I'm actually going to start filling these up with soil today. Finally, yes. And yeah, basically I've gone for 2 nice big wide aisles down the middle. So basically everything on the right, everything on the left, and everything in the centre is going to be growing area. I have got quite a few pallet collars left over, which are designed for that end of the garden, which I've also been working on. Now you may notice it's a lot tidier up here. I was out here a couple of days ago, Sunday I think, with the strimmer. If you don't know what a strimmer is, it's a weed whacker, and I've basically taken out all of the weeds, all of the high grasses and everything, and got rid of those into the compost. And I just need to clear a few other little bits, and then I can actually start tilling this soil and then flattening it down so it's nice and level, and then hopefully start covering it up again, and then kind of do the gradual moving this way thing, which has been the intention right from the start. It's just basically start at that end and work my way up. Now this is the stuff that was inside this black composter, and all through last year I was putting kitchen scraps and things in there, and it's turned out to be this really nice rich compost. So I'm really quite pleased at the way it's turned out. So this is almost ready to use. It's that lovely black dark colour, and that's what you want. So this whole composting malarkey does seem to work. So I think I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm actually going to start with this one. I'm actually going to place this one in its place and get some soil in it. Ooh, scary stuff. Whew, so there we go. That's I think that's quite a good afternoon's work. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beds filled, covered with black polythene. I've pinned them down with those stakes, and hopefully that's going to keep the cats off. That sun is really, really intense. I've had to do my Crocodile Dundee impression today. I'm also very happy to report that there has not been a single disturbance on any of these polythene covered beds, although there are little cat paw prints all over them. So it worked, so I'm really pleased about that, and I know it worked because in this next empty one up here there is a fresh cat jobby. So the sooner I get these all filled up and covered over, the better, I think. I'm quite pleased with that. That looks alright, that does. Alright, that's the new bench. It's all bronzed, and I've also got some netting to go up here, so I should put that up shortly. This is the other little table, and they're all secured into place. This is a huge table, it's about 3 foot wide, so there's plenty of space to work with. Let's have a look inside here. And the moment I haven't moved in, I've literally just finished everything. This is the bench for the kettle and tea and coffee making facilities. Set of shelves there, and this is where my little potting area is going to be, so I can store my little pots on the side there, all the soil, bags of soil underneath, Here I shall arrange some sort of hot and cold running, well not hot but cold running water, and 12 volt system that's going in, got a solar panel on its way. Yeah, that looks the beans, that does. I'm quite pleased with that. Managed to get that blue netting up, the shade netting, and already I can tell it's made a significant difference to the temperature in here. Welcome to the 100th episode of Rick's Allotment. What we've got to do now is move into the greenhouse, into the shed, and I brought a load of bits with me. Got my little cooker in here already. Also got another little shelf up. This is a tray in which you put compost, and then you can actually pot up all your seedlings. That's it. One cup of tea, first cup of tea in the shed. Cheers. Perfect. Well, as you know by now, allotments are about drinking tea, but they're also about doing a bit of work as well. If you've been watching my previous videos, you'll know sort of how I've got up to this stage. I've still got the 9 beds here. I haven't actually filled any more of them, but I'm going to have a little go today. Now, I'm very low on soil. I've only got about 10 bags left. So what I'm going to have to do is improvise. Now, there is a big pile of usable soil down the end of the this site, and apparently I'm able to use that, so I'm going to have to start wheelbarrowing it up to fill these up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And because I got the rotavator fixed, I was able to take care of the far end of the allotment, which I will show you very shortly. You may have noticed a little stripy thing on the wall or the ceiling here, and one up here. These are actually lights. Yes, we've got the electricity plumbed in. You may also notice, hopefully you can see that, running water. I have sunk the washing up bowl into the surface, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's perfect. It's just what I need. And jerry can is full of water down there, and I've got my bin as well, which is good. And hopefully, can you see that? I really can't tell. In fact, let me send you on a little bit of a wobbly journey here. I'll try to keep you as steady as I can, but I know this wide-angle camera tends to make things a little bit woozy. But yeah, here we go with the running water, which is fantastic. We've also got the cigarette lighter socket in there, which has got a little USB adapter, which I can use to charge up the phone if I need to. Oops. There we go. Obviously got lighting, and more lighting here, and outside we've got some more. I'm not sure if you can see that. Where are we? There we go. We've got lighting on there. Obviously you're not really going to see that until it's dark. Now what we've done is we've rigged up this little thing here. This is a solar powered solar charge controller. There you go, it's actually written on it. But basically we've got a little, well, let me show you. We've got a little solar panel. It's only a cheap one on the roof. This is a 10 watt solar panel. It was a real cheapie. I think it was about 30 quid on eBay with the charge controller. And what that does is that then goes off to this little battery here. This is a little sealed lead acid battery. It's the sort of battery you get in like a motor scooter, you know, like those pedestrian electric car thingies. So here we go. Now on the last video I hadn't touched any of this. It was still covered in carpet and a load of junk and everything, and I've spent quite a few days sorting it all out, flattening it, rotavating it, getting these beds put down, and literally it's now clean all the way to the bottom of the plot, although I've got this gap, about a foot wide gap there where there's going to be lots of grass. I need to figure that out. I'm thinking maybe just putting some lumps of wood or something there. Here we go, and I think it's quite fitting that the very first plants that I'm putting into this brand new allotment are plants that have been provided by another YouTuber. It just kind of is almost like slightly symbolic. So once again, John, thank you for donating these, and hopefully they're going to do just fine in their new homes. I'll tell you what, it actually feels good to be planting again. Don't get me wrong, I loved all the construction work. In fact, some days I think I prefer the construction work to the planting, but not today. Today I'm really enjoying planting these things. Right, let's see if I can manage a trip or two down to this earth pile. See whether I can get some earth without killing myself in the process with this heat. I'll just take it easy. Have a leisurely little dig and we should be fine. Radish. Let's see what we've got here. Look at that. That is enormous. That's probably going to be pretty woody. It's being eaten as well. There's another one. And another. I will take those home and give those a clean up. Hopefully they'll be just fine. I have harvested a load of other radish here about a month ago. And they were very, very nice, and I think I put a photograph up on Facebook. Now, you may remember from the last video, or was it the video before that, I planted these. These are the Jerusalem artichokes that John Simpson gave to me, and they're looking amazing. They look really, really healthy, very, very happy. There's no issues with them. Looking really kind of lush and green, and I'm very, very happy with them. And that's exactly, they're doing exactly what I thought they would do, because I heard that these are plants that just basically take care of themselves. You put them in the ground, you forget about them, and they do their own thing, and that's exactly what they've done. I haven't fed them, I haven't watered them, I haven't done anything, and they've just taken care of themselves. That's fantastic. You will of course remember the polytunnel, which was destroyed in the storms that we had back in February, and it was destroyed so badly that I literally had to disassemble it, and this is where I built the greenhouse instead. But the good news is the components from the old polytunnel I gave to my neighbour Jim, and he built this, and it's really, really impressive. Come on in, I'll give you a little look around. Welcome to Jim's polytunnel, and Jim very kindly let me film in here and give you a quick tour. I'm really, really impressed and happy that what was basically my dead polytunnel has turned into this, and it's kind of like a Mark II version, and there's a lot better features in here as well. Now, you may have noticed on my neighbouring plot that enormous bramble bush that sort of lived here and kind of literally came out to half the plot's length has been chopped down. Turns out I've got myself a new neighbour, and they decided they were going to take on this plot, which is next door to mine. It's adjacent to mine, and they had a go at chopping everything down. In fact, I'll show you what they've done. And once they chopped everything down, they realised just what they'd taken on, and the state of this place, I mean, you can see it, it's like a rubbish tip. There's just so much junk here, and there's an old shopping basket, there's an old a bird cage there, there's trolleys and mattresses and carpet, there's glass everywhere. And anyway, so to cut a long story short, they've managed to negotiate the plot on the other side of my plot. So all this well, we're not quite sure what's going to happen with this, but anybody in their right mind is not going to take this on. It's just absolutely awful. Let me just show you the garden quickly while I'm here from the conservatory window. Hopefully you can see through the glass okay without too much reflection. I haven't done a huge amount with the garden. Obviously it looks okay with the flowers in the pots. Some of them are kind of going over now over this side. I have got lots of tomato plants, which is good. Sorry, tomatoes, if you can see them hopefully. And I've also planted, earlier in the year, I planted 3 trees. This one's a plum, that one's an apple, and that one down the end is a pear. Okay, I'm not going to plant any more in this bed this year. The only thing I'm going to put on this bed is some manure, but of course I have to go off and get it. So I'm going to hitch up the trailer and we'll head off out somewhere and see if we can find ourselves some poo. You'll be pleased to know John has now dug his 2 beds. Is it just me or do they look like graves? Is there something you're not telling me?
It isn't fully fat.
Oh dear. I'll tell you what, if they do a plot inspection, I would just so love to be a fly on the wall.
You gotta have a laugh.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad I got a plot holder next to me who's got a sense of humour.
Wait till Halloween.
Oh God.
You'll be stood there, someone will jump out of here.
Yeah.
Morning!
There we go. So I was right. It does look like a grave.
There you go.
Mad. You're madder than I am. There we go. That's that bed done. I've left that one alone. I'm not going to put any manure on that one because I think if you grow carrots in too rich a soil, you get bent carrots. But I have added manure to all of these beds down the bottom end of the garden there. The trailer's now empty, and pretty much all of these beds now are ready for next spring, or you know that I'll be putting them to bed for the winter, and then hopefully when next spring comes around they're going to be ready to be planted. Job done. So that is pretty much it for another video and for the season really. There's very little left to be done, and most of the beds now have been kind of put to sleep for the winter. It's just a few little bits to loose ends to tie up. So this is probably going to be the last allotment video that I do this year. Obviously I'm going to be back in the spring and going to get cracking on putting this brand new allotment site to good use, and hopefully I'm going to get some really cracking produce next year. I want to grow really big things. That's my plan. Obviously whether that happens or not we'll have to wait and see, but I would most definitely be back in the spring. In the meanwhile, the RickVanMan channel is a variety channel. It always has been, and so I'm likely to put up other videos on my channel, perhaps one a week again, on other subjects, because that's what I've always done. It's only in this last year or so that it's sort of become mostly allotment videos, but I do other videos as well. And in fact, I'm actually planning on doing a video making equipment video at some point very soon. So that's it then, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.